Hi, I am Claire and I make Sims 4 build videos, and this week's video is going to be a one bed, 1.5 bath or 1 and 2 baths. And so this is for a newly married couple or for a empty nester couple who love pets. That's why I'm building it in the world that came with cats and dogs, Brunelton Bay. Also, I watched the show called House of History on HGTV. I know I've talked about it before, but I wanted to do another house based off of the show. Well, not like based off the show, I kind of made it my own. Like, this is my own creation. I didn't get like inspiration from the show. Well, I got the itch to do a colonial style home, you could say. And so we are starting off in this entryway room. I noticed that in a lot of these builds on the show that there are entryway rooms, like just kind of like a room with branches of different rooms off of it. And so we are just going to be adding just a few things here and there, just trying to keep things like nice and decorated, but also not like too much. I feel like it can be too much, and then I add too much, and then it just has like no room for your spaces, your Sims to walk through. And so I wanted to make sure there was a nice way for your Sims to get from place to place. And so we are just going to be trying to see if I want to add a sitting area. I do end up just adding a little chair in the corner, and I feel like this area turns out really nice. I feel like I don't really do like these like entry rooms with like doors coming off of it. I feel like I normally go with the more open concept floor plan. And so we are just going to be adding a lot of these pictures from the cats and dogs pack, and now we are just going to be adding that little chair I was talking about, and just wanted to make this space look very nice and comfortable. And I feel like I should use these pictures more often. I've said this before, but when I know I'm using pack A, B, and C, I only want to use pack A, B, and C. And so even though there's a picture that looks really good with the style I'm doing, I feel like I can't use it sometimes because it's just that one item that doesn't match with the rest of the house. Speaking of that, the final version may have a different exterior siding. I am currently using the ones from the Grilling Together pack, but I also realized that that is the only item I used. I mean, I know when you download this house that it will just like replace itself, but I feel like I would rather have it look nice for everybody instead of just making it look nice for just the people who have the pack. And so we are going to be going into the dining room now after kind of finishing up this area. I'm just going to be adding these little pet statues in the corner, and I did try to fill in those little cubbies so they wouldn't look exactly the same, but I couldn't find the right plant. Well, I did find a plant, but that plant didn't work, and there's just a lot of different like bulky stuff coming out at different angles, and so it just didn't really work. And so we are just going to be adding some plants in the corners. I do get rid of one of those plants. I felt it was too symmetrical, like, oh, on this view there's plants, on this view there are like decorations. And so we are just going to be now going into the kitchen. And I just need to talk about that bust you just saw me place down. I thought that could maybe be a little bit of house with history moment, and they found like a bust of the guy who like either built this house or used to live in this house. And so I thought it would be fun to kind of add that little quote unquote history moment into the house. And so now we are just going to be adding some cabinets. This is a very big kitchen. Maybe one of the Sims that lives here is a chef, possibly, and I just thought that was kind of a cool idea. And I wanted to pay homage with the old style of houses. So I have this kitchen kind of more towards the back of the house, which I personally like because when people come over, I don't want the first thing to see when they walk into my house is what I'm cooking for dinner. So I personally like that idea of having your kitchen in the back, but I do also like having open spaces. And so we are just going to be going and adding some decoration and going to be adding an island on in this room on the kitchen, and so we are just going to be adding some bar stools, just try to make it a little bit of a hangout space. Maybe the Sim that likes to cook also likes cooking with friends, but maybe they don't like to cook, so they just watch. I know I did that for a little bit. I had a friend who really liked cooking like just cakes on Mondays after school, and so I would just go over to her house and watch her make cakes, and I would sometimes help out. I would help out making the cake. She did have to help me realize that there is not a difference between red velvet and chocolate. It's just red velvet is just chocolate cake dyed red, and that was a mind-blowing experience for me. And so we are just going to be adding some pebbles. Can't forget the 3 friends in this house, and I do add a pet door, like basically right where those pet bowls are, and I thought that would just be a better option because I couldn't find room for the litter box, and so it just ends up being outside on the porch. And so we are just going to be adding a matching chandelier in the kitchen as in the dining room, just to kind of create a sense of coherency between these 2 spaces, and it's just kind of a good long type of chandelier. And so we are now in the living room, and I wanted this space to have a fireplace. I usually add chimneys and forget to add a fireplace, but there's actually 2 chimneys in this house and 2 fireplaces. Wait, no, I might need to do some adjusting on that. So the final version will have chimneys, but I think I covered up the chimneys with roofs, and so I had the idea still in my head, but I forgot that I covered up the chimneys with roofs, so I will go fix that before I put it on the gallery. So the screenshots I just barely took will still have that, but the final version will not. So I wanted to keep this all the walls this colonial blue, this kind of light, kind of maybe sea blue, or I'm just going to be adding a light. I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. And so I also wanted to add the lighthouse light. I feel like that is my favorite light just because I like lighthouses. It helps me get out of a difficult time. And so we are just going to be going and adding a little chess table. Maybe these Sims are kind of what's the skills that you gain from doing chess, but they're that. And so we are just going to adding, or not adding, well I guess yeah, kind of adding. We are going to be going into the bathroom, and this is a bathroom that the guests will use if your Sims are hosting a dinner party or just kind of a get together like that. I did really want to add a mirror in that room, but I just couldn't really figure it out. I knew it wouldn't work at the door, so I just added some pictures. And now we are upstairs on the 2nd level, and we are first going to be working on this little landing space / office computer area. And so I just wanted to make sure that the Sims did have a space to work on stuff on the computer. And I feel like this chair I chose is maybe a little too fancy, but maybe it is restored and they made it fancier than it came in. And so we are just going to be adding a picture. I feel like I use that picture quite a bit, and just going to be adding a rug. I feel like I never use this flower rug, and it is really pretty, so I should start to use it more often, but I feel like this space was a good spot for that, so the chair doesn't rub against the hard wood. And now we are in the bathroom, and this space I just wanted to keep kind of simple, and this room also has the second fireplace, and so we are just going to be changing the light because I thought I needed a better light that kind of fit more, and it's from the Cats and Dogs pack, and I feel like the more items I use from the Cats and Dogs pack, it looked better, kind of had more of a cohesive style, and so we are just going to be making a little seating area. I couldn't really figure out what exactly I wanted to do right here. Then I moved the door into the ensuite, and then everything just fell into place. But it took me a real minute to realize, oh, I need to move the door in the fireplace. And so we are just going to be doing a little rearranging, going to be adding some plants, but some of them don't stay, and so we do just add a plant over the fireplace, and going to be going and adding some pet treats. I thought that was really cute to add some pet treats, since that's one of the reasons why this house is kind of how it is, and so we are just going to be adding some decorations on the dresser. And I know that mirrors work as dressers, but I felt like the space still needed a dresser, even though the kitchen is pretty, or the bedroom is pretty small. We are back in the kitchen, just going to be adding some pet feed bags, and these are so cute. I feel like they're the items that I want to use, but I always forget about, and so I'm like, I need to use them. And they weren't fitting on the counter or the cabinet as I wanted, so I just spaced them down a little bit. And now we are back in the primary bedroom, just going to be adding some pictures, just trying to keep it very simple around here. And just going to be adding a rug, but I couldn't find the right rug I wanted, and I do end up using this one from Base Game. It did just take me a minute, and now we are working on the landing space a little bit more. I wanted to have this little towel cupboard outside. I thought it looked better than having it anywhere else. It's a small house, so we couldn't really add anything else. So having the towels in the entryway is the only place they can do it. And I just like how it filled in this space back here. Also, the towels on top floating, I did fix it, but you can kind of see that during the screenshot, so I'm sorry, I did notice it. And now we are just moving the doors and moving the fireplace, and just everything fell into place once I moved that door. And so we are going to be adding these chairs back, and going to be now going in to the primary bathroom, but this isn't the final room of the house. I do the backyard as well, and so we are just going to keep this bathroom pretty simple. It's going to be adding a bath towel. I could not think of that word for a second. And going to be now going into the backyard. So first thing I add is a grill, and I'm like, okay, maybe these Sims like to cook, maybe they also like to grill, and so we are just going to be adding a picnic table. But I feel like I used that picnic table recently, so I switched it out for this other picnic table that looks like reclaimed wood, and so we are just going to be adding a little cat hangout spot, and going to be adding a dog agility course. I thought that'd be fun for the dogs to work out on, and so we are getting close to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you want to play in this house, you can find it on the Sims 4 gallery. And if you want to see more content from me, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And I post new videos every single Tuesday. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and have a good week. Bye!